Hello everyone, this is going to be part 2 of the Kentucky Rifle. This is going to be a disassembly because I think it'd be very useful if anyone needs to disassemble this, if they're going to do the same project as me or just want to disassemble it. What you will need is 2 screwdriver lengths. I've just got a screwdriver where you can change the ends, a bigger one and a smaller one, because some of the screws, especially up on the lock, these slots very thin and you won't get in with a normal screwdriver. And you'll need some pliers because the ramrod is an actual ramrod. Move it down a little bit. The ramrod is an actual ramrod, which I was very surprised about, because normally on these Denix, the ramrods are just fake rods that are permanently attached to the stock. So I was pleasantly surprised about that. The actual stock itself is 2 separate pieces. The first piece is from the end of the butt to here, and then the rest, this is another piece, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. This patch box, I found out what it was called, is just held on with some little nails, so you should be able to just pry that off. I doubt there's any glue in there, but if there is, it won't be much. I still don't know what the actual wood is. Denix just say wood, so it could be anything. And the barrel, another thing I was surprised about, is steel. Normally all of this is cast, like some really cheap metal, Zamax I think it's called, but the barrel is a little magnet, is steel. It's a very thin wall barrel, I'll show you that, but let's get started, shall we? Right, let's start with the ramrod first. I'm also going to have to move the gun down a little bit because it's a big rifle. So what you want to do, under here there's a screw. This holds the ramrod and goes into the barrel, so you just need to unscrew that. This is the first video I'm doing this positioning over the camera, so if it looks a bit awkward, it is a little bit. This screw is quite a long one. It's more noticeably longer than the other screws, so I'll keep that over there. All of these brass pieces, well, this one and that one, these are just friction fit into the stock. This is a whole piece, so yeah, I'm gonna try and position this in a way that you can see it. What you want to do is get some pliers right on the end of it. There we go. You just want to get some pliers right on the end of it. Don't go mad with it because it's a very soft wood. You just want to bring it up slightly and then you'll be able to pull it out. So I'm just going to take off this screw. Some of these, or all of these screws, are really cheap, so they can easily be stripped if you don't use the correct size. This one's smaller than the front. We'll just put it in a tray. Now you should be able to take the barrel off like that. If I can show you, oh, you won't see. It is a hollow tube as well. So that's the barrel. While I'm here, this just is friction held on. So let me just take this off. There's the one part of the stock, the little brass piece that comes off. This is very thin brass, so don't squeeze it this way because it will close up and you won't get the same shape if you want to use it. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using it yet. You might see a drop in quality at the minute. I'm trying to save space. So we've taken the barrel and everything off. So now I'm just going to take the trigger guard off. This is just easy enough. I'm just going to switch over to my smaller screwdriver because this is thinner. Both of these I'm the same size, so it don't matter which way they go in. And again, I'll be replacing this for my project, but if you're going to keep it, there's nothing wrong with them. They look the part, it's just I want something that feels a bit better. There you go, they're the same. And then the trigger guard just comes off. So I'll put them in the tray. While I'm down this end, I'll take off the buttstock. Simple enough again. Just put my other, these are bigger screws, so these ain't too bad to do. These are the same as well. And then the butt plate just comes off. So I'll keep them together. I won't take this off yet because I need to order the parts and I'll probably have to mark out where it is, but you should be able to get a screwdriver in here and then pry it up. There's a good chance it will split or make the holes bigger, but you can just put some wood filler in, sand it and then stain it back. I've taken the little nails, the little tack nails out. It did take a bit more force to get a really thin screwdriver and pry under everywhere, as you can see by the dents in the wood, but I ain't too bothered by that because I'm going to make it look old anyway. And then it just comes off and it's just a thin piece of the cast metal. It doesn't actually open or anything, so it's got a little cut out here to look like where it would open, but on the actual one this would be cut out. And I've drawn around where it was roughly, so when I get the actual patch box I can put it on the position and cut out a little bit of the shape. I won't cut out loads of it because this wood's a very soft wood, so I want to keep as much as I can, but that's that. Now we'll move on to the actual lock. With these Denix, the way the flint locks pistols and rifles, and sometimes the revolvers as well, is it's basically a gear system. It's a piece that's got a gear on the bottom and a spring that's inside here, and it's all keyed and it only goes on one way, so it's not that difficult, but as it goes around you can hear it. Those clicks are the teeth, and the trigger, you won't see it, but there's a spring on there. There is a slight bit of spring tension on the trigger, but not loads. But this is held on to a square little, well, the top of the ratchet system. First of all, I'm just going to take off the FRISM, well, the FRISM cover, because that's just screwed on and it's not a structural part. That's a bigger screwdriver, so if you've got a bigger one, this is on loosely, so I keep slipping because this isn't the right size really. But this screw and that screw, them smaller, but them chunkier. So let's take this off. I keep the screws in whichever thing I've taken off. So you can see that screw hole there. There is a screw behind the cock there. I will just take them out, and then there's no springs or anything going to fly off. So what I'll do actually is, it'll be easy if I take this off first. If it'll work. There we go. That was a little bit stiffer. See, that's the same size as that one. Let me just, there we go. So then this can just lift off. You see? So that's that piece. And there's the top of the ratchet that I was on about. So that rotates clockwise. I won't be able to do it with my hands, but that's what's making the cock go back to all the clicks. So now I can just take off, there's 3 screws. This is a fake one that's just cast, but take off these 3, and then this plate will be able to just come off. Now we can just take the plate off. Simple. This screw is longer than the other 2, but these 2, which were here and here, they're the same length. It's just this one is a little bit longer because it goes into the stock. So now you can just lift the gear thing out. I don't really know what it's called. That just comes out, and as you can see, it's got a cutout, so this can only go on one way effectively. Now, I don't know if you're able to see, I'm going to include some pictures, but I'll try. No, you can't really see it. Now you can take the spring, actually, now you can take the trigger out. It's held in place by a pin in here. It's not friction fit or anything. The trigger is free to move. What you want to do is turn it, flip it, and then hit it at the back, and then the pin should come out. Now we can take off the plate at the back. This is just a cosmetic plate. It's not doing anything, it's just there for looks. So again, this is the smaller slotted screw. There's the one. There's the 2. These are the same size, and then this just comes off. This screw is just moulded into the plate. So you can go over there. Now, like I was saying before, the trigger pin is this hole. If you turn it over and hit it, give it a few taps, it should just fall out with friction. There we go. It was a bit more stubborn, but you just got to turn it over, give it a few taps. I'll just use some the ply just to tap it, and it will come out. The trigger will then just drop out, and the trigger pin will just drop out. Sometimes on these replicas there's hidden pins, So you need to look carefully to see if you can find them, but this doesn't have any hidden pins. And now the spring, if I can grab it, the spring just comes out the bottom. Here's the spring. The ratchet system goes over those two, and it goes in this way. So underneath it's like that, and then going back in it's that way, because then it rotates clockwise, and that's where it locks, and then the trigger mechanism. It's a bit of a weird spring, but it works. And then I don't know if you can see, but there's just a hole, just an empty hole in here now. So that's everything. That's the Kentucky flintlock fully disassembled. Pretty easy project really. And to put it back together, just do the reverse of this video. Start with the lock, the spring I mean, work your way to the lock, put all the stuff back on, and it should go back together pretty simply. If you're going to take this apart and leave it apart for an extended amount of time, I would recommend keeping the screws in whichever part was taken out of. So hope this helps. Thanks for watching.